Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight is Open Lines Night. That means it's you, me, everybody that comes and watches and joins in the chat room and calls in, makes the show. We're going to have more of these because I am trying to find, more guests that are really centered in the paranormal topic. Next week, we have Gregory and Gail Hogue. We're going to talk about sacred geometry. But I'm trying to get more geared guests to the paranormal experiences. That's what I'm working on. And if I can't, then I do a shorter show like I do tonight and more World Wide Web of Weird stories, which I know you guys love the World Wide Web of Weird. So this is an extended World Wide Web of Weird tonight. Actually, I have double the amount of stories, and we'll take our time a little more with them. And then we'll open up the phone lines. You can join the conversation, talk about any of the stories we talked tonight, or share your own paranormal experiences, because that's what I do this show for. I want to hear from you about what you've encountered. We got to compare notes. I always say that all the time. We got a lot of weird to get to tonight, and join us because this show is made by you guys tonight. That's how Open Lines works. I know. I use some people are like, what's Open Lines mean? I go back to the Art Bell days. You knew it on Art Bell when it was Open Lines night, right? Call in and anything goes. So that's pretty much here. I don't have phone screeners or anything like that. I just don't have his kind of audience. So it's a much more small and intimate audience with you guys. And we can do that. Maybe we can do some Zener psychic games tonight. I don't know. We are going to do a psychic game night show. I want that to be a planned out thing. And we got other guests I have planned. I do have guests scheduled over the next couple months. And there's people I'm reaching out to. But I do want to do more of these open lines and World Wide Web extended kind of shows. So you're going to see a lot more of that. Shorter show tonight. Got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. No guests tonight, open lines, like I said, shorter show. And it's all about you guys in the chat room, tonight. Like, where is she? Like my mom. Hi, Mom, love you. Yeah, my mom's in the chat room. There's other people, it's not just my mom. I swear, it's not that small of an audience. Hi, Royal. Hi, everybody. You guys make the show tonight. Yes. Join the conversations. Call in. Discuss later, because we're gonna do some World Wide Web of Weird. Honestly, after the first 30 minutes, we do the World Wide Web of Weird, or whatever, until after the first commercial break. We'll continue with stories, but I will open up the phone line while we're doing the stories and take phone calls in between. That's how we'll do it tonight. Kind of stretch it out a little bit. But joining me as always is my beautiful beautiful co-host Jamie D. How are you tonight, Jamie?
I'm doing well, thank you. You almost had an unfortunate slip of the tongue there.
Well, no, I just said I couldn't even say co-host. I wasn't trying to slip. I hope I didn't. I don't know. What did it sound like I was going to say? Oh, God, I don't want to know. Oh, Jesus, no. That's not what I was trying to say. Joining me from another beautiful co-host. Wave that beautiful hair. There he is. Rob from St. Augustine, Florida. How you doing tonight, Rob?
Marvelous.
Glad to have you here, man.
Yeah.
I only caught a little bit of the World Wide Web of Weird. I was late to it last week, and then I watched it in bed, and yeah, I fell asleep. And not because the show was boring, but because I had to be up like at 6 a.m.
Yep.
But I know I'm covering some of the stuff tonight that you covered. Did you cover the Prince Charles thing? I think Jamie said you guys did. She had to go to the bathroom and missed it.
I just showed a picture of it.
All right, we're going to get in. That's the last one tonight. Really open up the phone lines after that one. You know, the Prince Charles painting. I'm saving that for last. We'll get into all that. All kinds of weird. So let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, we're going to start off with some mysteries. Mysteries, like the mystery of the pyramids. Been seeing this article going around. I have, of course, the condensed version from Unexplained Mysteries. Have scientists finally figured out how the pyramids were built? What do you think? I'm going to read this article, and then you tell me, do you think they figured out how the pyramids were built? For those listening on the Paranormal Soup radio network on the Talkstream Live Paranormal Radio app, we are a webcast. We do share out photos, videos sometimes on the World Wide Web of Weird if you want to come watch, but I will narrate as best as possible. Let me get the share screen up there. Thank you, Rob. All right, this is the original article here. Scientists may have solved mysteries behind Egypt pyramids. That's a may have and a question from Unexplained Mysteries. For years, the question of how, and like I said, this is Unexplained Mysteries, shorter version. For years, questions of how ancient Egyptians managed to create such enormous structures using nothing but primitive tools has remained one of the most heated debates in all of archaeology. Many subscribe to the idea that the builders of these ancient wonders must have relied upon a major waterway to transport the huge stone blocks used to construct them. But today, the pyramids are situated in a dry desert area, and any water that might have run next to them has long since dried up. Nobody was certain of the location, the shape, and the size and proximity of the mega waterway to the actual pyramid site, said lead study author Professor Iman Gohin. Now, though, thanks to an international team of researchers who used a combination of radar satellite imagery, historical maps, sediment coring, and geophysical surveys to study the area, the location of the ancient waterway has finally been found. The long-last branch of the Nile, which was likely buried by drought and sandstorms during the antiquity, would have been run straight past 31 pyramids, including the pyramids at Gaza. The builders of these structures would have been able to use the water to transport stone blocks directly to the construction site. We had a guest, and I can't remember his name. He hated the whole, the pyramids are lined up to the stars of Orion, and he hated that. Remember? Who was that? Yeah. But his whole premise, remember, was, oh, God, who was it? He's going to kill me if he's watching. Yep. I don't remember his name.
I got it. He sent me a DVD.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
Thank you. I know him. I have him friends on Facebook, and I'm, blanking on his name. I'm so sorry. I'd have to, go through my guest shows. But that's his description of how the pyramids were built, remember, was them basically using water, not just to move the stones, but to float them up and basically build them up that way and drain the water as they went down. It was something like that, wasn't it?
The water locking or something.
The water locking, yeah. And this would explain it. Now, do you think this means they've really explained how the pyramids were built?
No. I mean, once they got, like I was saying the other night, once they got all the blocks there, say there was a river there, sure. They could bring them in on a barge, sure. But, it's not like they could just pick them up in a wheelbarrow. And
his thing was that they built these water flow dams that went around it, and they floated them up. I don't know. It still seems quite a project, you know.
Yeah.
And they weren't tombs.
And then,
never been a body found in one of these things.
Yeah, but there's passages and airways and all that, and it's not just a pile of bricks. It's like it has structure inside.
Yeah, especially the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
I don't think we've solved the mystery where the pyramid's been. That's just my feeling on it. I think that it's one more clue to how they might have moved the stones there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think some people know, like the people who get all the pieces and get to keep the scribes and certain things, but I don't think us as, regular people are ever going to know that answer.
Yeah.
Nope. On to the next mystery. Human evolution, right? Where we come from, how we evolved, what we were. This is interesting. Skull found in China may have belonged to long-lost Dragon Man. The three skulls known as collectively as Yunxixian Man were discovered in 1989, 1990, and 2022 in the, I cannot say this, Extatanglasganzi site in China, Yunyang district. Yeah, no, wow. Totally did not get that right. It's long, too. First two were crushed and distorted, though. The third managed to avoid too much damage. Oh, how did it get to the meat one? It should be, you're under the third one. It should be the second one. Did the second one get lost in there? That's the next modern mystery. Yeah. We'll get to the meat mystery. Some believe the skulls were early Homo sapiens, modern humans, while others thought they were more likely to be Homo erectus. See, we've found so many different versions of humans. Now, though, after painstakingly reconstructing one of the skulls using 3D modeling software, scientists concluded that it was in fact a hybrid, the last known common ancestor of modern humans and the long-lost Dragon Man lineage. The reconstructed Yunxixian 2 suggests that it's an early member of the Asian Dragon Man lineage, which probably includes the Denisovians and the sister group of the Homo sapien lineage, the study author wrote. Both Homo sapiens and Dragon Man lineages have had deep roots extending beyond the middle Paleocene and the basal position of man. These are some big words. The Yunxixian fossil cranium suggests it represents a population lying close to the last common ancestor of the two lineages. But the thing is, they keep finding more and more versions of man. I think there was a lot of genetic shenanigans going on, ancient alien stuff. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we really don't know. I mean, there's so many gaps in the idea of, like, the human evolution. But this skull, look at it.
Yeah, I mean, we found skulls like this. We supposedly found giants. We found oblong skulls. I mean, there's, like, who knows?
The Peruvian skull, to me, is one of the most interesting. And I mean, they've featured that on Ancient Aliens. Have been testing because it doesn't have the cranium suture.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the stretch. It wasn't stretched out by, them binding. It's actually natural, and the DNA was. They couldn't get the right DNA to actually get a really full analysis of that skull.
Yeah.
But there were some oddities, But what they did is they traced it. There were some genetic relationships to Asia, even though it was in South America, Peru. I think there's so much history we'll never know, honestly, unless the aliens come here and tell us.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we did. Sorry, we messed with your DNA. Now on to more modern mysteries.
Back to the
meat
pyramids. Was the guest that we had on, was it Samuel Sampson or Michael Reed?
No.
No.
I don't think so. No.
Remember that. Anyways, okay.
See, it's going to bug me which one it is. And it's been a few years since we had him on, and I can't remember his name. And I haven't seen him post in a long time. I would see his name and stuff come up, my friends list. And it's always about making fun of, like, Ancient Aliens and the Orion thing, because he was not a fan of that. But he was a great guest. All right, like I said, modern mysteries. The Egyptians built pyramids that are mysteries. And now we have meat piles that are mysteries. Seriously, this is a mystery. Authorities in Ohio are asking the public for help. This is from Tim Bindle from Coast to Coast. Asking the public for help in solving a messy mystery in the forms of a massive amount of meat that some miscreant dumped on the side of the road. The huge pile of putrefied food was reportedly discovered earlier this month in the community of Grandview. The mound is particularly mystifying, Joshua Lane of the Washington County Health Department explained, by virtue of the wide variety of meats that it contains, as the unfortunate individual who first stumbled upon the jaw-dropping deposit identified pork loins, sausage, bacon, steaks, chicken, and shrimp, making the case all more maddening for local officials.
There went my theory.
Yeah. The ne'er-do-well who dumped the meat did so at a spot within Wayne National Forest, with the location being federal property. That has left authorities bound by various bureaucratic rules that prevent them from simply scooping up a pile and properly disposing of it. Love bureaucracy. Can't even send anybody in there to just clean it up because it's in the national forest. What?
And that's going to get even more stagnant.
As such, the mound sits rotting away on the side of the road while its removal can be coordinated among the various parties involved in the matter. Just somebody clean it up, right? Seriously, like, it's like, what it is like, it's not our fault, our responsibility, it's your responsibility. No, it's your responsibility. You pay for it from your budget. No. Fortunately, residents concerns that the pile could pose some kind of health risk by being close to a stream. Lane indicated the meat mound is perfectly safe in that regard, though conceded that it is the horrifying smell is undoubtedly unpleasant and annoying to anyone visiting the forest. Considering the enormous amount of food that was dumped, it stands to reason that someone in the community would know the mound wound up there, or how the mound wound up there, and it is such as cops are calling on the public to share any leads they might have. Somebody's got to know, like, who had the pile of variety of meats? What meat party went wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's not like oh, we got some old chicken in the fridge.
Or like they just had the beef recalls. You know, the first thing I thought was maybe somebody had a ton of that ground beef that was recalled in those tubes for the E. coli or whatever,
right,
and decided just to throw it on the road. But that's quite an
maybe
array.
It was a statement by PETA. Returning them back to their forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
they're dumping the meat back to your home.
They die in vain. They're already dead. I mean,
yeah. You know, but it would be a good statement. Look at this putrid meat. Do you really want to eat meat?
Where's
my mom's
the
in
vulture?
there. She's not a meat eater. Or a restaurant. See, my mom, dear mom, that's kind of where my thought is. Like, or a restaurant? Yeah, maybe.
That's what someone else
look
said.
at the restaurant and fast food industry right now is literally collapsing in front of us. Mm-hmm. It's literally collapsing. Who knows? This is some restaurant that said, "F it, we're closed. We're out of money business, and I'm not paying for this. Just dump that crap on the side of the road." Had it been a buffet.
Had to have been.
That's a lot of meat, even for a restaurant. Yeah.
Like a Chinese buffet.
But my thing is, who just dumps it as a stunt when that's thousands of dollars of meat? Because I'm talking inflation. You know, that stuff ain't cheap now. You know, that's chicken, thousands of dollars of probably food there.
Yeah.
And who just does that? You know, like it's, you know, unless it's a restaurant just went out of business. Like, well, we don't want to throw that in the trash. Just go dump it.
But why is it still in such a perfect pile and wildlife hasn't started to like? Before it got so rotten, you think?
I'm sure wildlife has. I'm sure wildlife has. I mean,
I'm sure there's plenty of flies laying larvae.
Yeah. Oh, gross.
It's probably crawling nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not gonna clean it up. You clean it up.
Imagine the maggots.
It could be a threat
they
to water.
need to throw some compost dirt over the top of it and some lime.
If they find out who the guy is and I see an article, I'll let you know because I'd love to know this mystery. Like, why is there a pile of meat on the side of the road? Like
some lime and some soil.
Everybody take their votes now. Is it a restaurant that dumped it? Is it PETA sending the animals free? You know, take your guesses, and if you're right, we find out, we'll acknowledge it.
I say
you
restaurant.
You need to go check all the restaurants and see whose freezer broke down in the last week.
I mean, that's a lot of meat. All right, let's move on. I wonder what Bigfoot would do with all that meat. Is he a carnivore? We still don't know, right? I've had different guests with different opinions on it. But on to Bigfoot. That's my segue. Move on to the next. So I got the original article here, but the Unexplained Mysteries, of course, has a shorter article. Excuse me. I need some water. I'm parched. Oh, man. Intriguing story recently surfaced that describes a very close encounter with an alleged Bigfoot in California. incident, which was recounted by a man who gave his name as only Mark, reportedly occurred in the woods near a quiet town in Northern California back on August 2nd of 2022. Mark and his wife and his young daughter had picked up some produce from a local farmer's market. Not a meat pile? All right. Before heading to the forest where they settled down for a picnic among the flowers. As they prepared the lunch, his daughter ran off to play among the trees nearby. Missing 411. Have you ever...
Yeah.
I mean, that is the stuff of nightmares for a parent.
David
Pallady's Missing 411. Sorry. About 15 minutes later, a loud scream prompted both parents to rush over to find out if she was all right. What they saw at that moment was will likely stick with them for the rest of their lives. There, sitting on a tree log, was a young girl. Sitting next to her was a tall, hairy creature. She seemed completely relaxed and content, but next to her was an enormous hairy creature that was easily 7 or 8 feet tall, even while crouching, Mark recalled. The beast, which was bipedal and covered in brown hair, seemed to be happily playing with the little girl, and she did not seem to fear her unusual playmate, nor did she try to run away. It's almost like the pair were playing a game of copycat, both tilting their heads and scratching their cheeks in turn, said Mark. It made a low rumbling grunt as if laughing. Eventually, the little girl noticed her parents nearby and ran over to join them. Shortly afterwards, the Bigfoot stood up, stared at them for a time, then retreated into the woods. Despite visiting the same area multiple times, neither Mark or his wife have ever saw the creature again. You know, Missing 411. Don't let your child...
Wait, what?
You know?
They sat and let their child play with Bigfoot? Did I hear that right?
I don't think they led anything. I think they were stunned in fear. They didn't. The child ran to them when she noticed them. But do you make a move? What do you do in that moment as a parent?
Yeah.
You're seriously, what do you do?
I got I'm chasing Bigfoot.
Do you do anything aggressive while this thing can literally snap your child in half? Do you make an aggressive move? Do you?
One distracts Bigfoot and the other one grabs the kid.
But do you do it aggressively? My distraction would be like, hey, over here, me. Don't get angry. Don't get... You know, I mean, I'm saying, you don't want to do anything aggressive. I don't know. I mean, some of the theories about the missing children are that it is Bigfoot to take it. I don't know if Bigfoot should get that, accusation. Is that fair to Bigfoot? I don't know. We had that story a couple years ago about maybe it's been a year. I don't know how long it's been, about the kid who went missing in the woods, and then they found him, and he said this bear kept him company or kept him safe, and it sounded more like his description of a Bigfoot than a bear. Yeah. But the kid didn't know what a Bigfoot was. It was like, 3 or 4, if that. They're intelligent creatures, and they know it's a child. They're not going to hurt it, right? You would hope.
Depends
on. Is the
which
story true?
But yeah, if that was true, dude, imagine the memory that would be burned into your skull for life. If that really,
the amount of fear the parents felt in that moment. What do you do?
All sorts of emotions stirring up at once.
Yeah.
Emotions would be stirring, and I hope I had an extra pair of shorts in the car.
But also, I don't know. I think the worst scenario is if you run across a young Bigfoot and Mama Bigfoot comes along. Nature always has said that's usually a bad scenario. Moving on, speaking of nature, our military has always loved to mess with it. And I found this story on Unexplained Mysteries, and I've heard a little bit about this, but it's been making the rounds about what they did, the OSS did in World War II with foxes. Have you seen this?
I see it in the other day, but I didn't read it.
The bizarre and mostly forgotten chapter of World War II history saw the Office of Strategic Services, which essentially is the forerunner of the CIA, invent a whole range of peculiar schemes designed to give the United States an advantage during the conflict. One of these was known as Operation Fantasia. It tried to take advantage of the superstitious beliefs of the Japanese people by making them believe that they were being haunted by a kitsune, a supernatural entity shaped like a fox that was often seen to be a harbinger of doom. Businessman Ed Solinger was tasked with finding a way to make the whole thing work. Several methods were investigated, including the idea of floating large fox-shaped balloons over the battlefield or using fox call whistles at a strategic times and locations. Ultimately, though, these ideas were scrapped in favor of using actual live foxes and covering them with luminous paint so they give off an eerie supernatural glow. The The test of the plan Salinger's team even took to releasing a number of luminous foxes in Rock Creek Park in Washington, D.C. to see what the reaction of the public would actually be. Do you know where I'm going with this? All right, this is history now. Horrified citizens shocked by the sudden sight of the leaping ghost-like animals fled from the dark recesses of the park, National Park Police reported at the time. Following this apparent success, the next task was to find a way to get the foxes to Japan. The team first tried dropping the animals in the ocean and letting them swim to shore, but this inevitably washed off a lot of the paint. Like, they didn't consider that.
Yeah,
Hey,
really.
maybe let's throw them in some water. Does that paint wash off? Oh, yeah. Or they throw them in the water like, did anybody think to test if that was water repellent paint?
Back to the drawing board.
Seriously, yeah. How much money was spent on that? Oh, let's do it again. Unable to find a solution, Salinger went back to the idea of using balloons and even developed a mechanical floating device shaped like a stuffed fox with a human skull affixed to its head. In the end, however, the entire project was scrapped before it could be used against the enemy. My point on this is we've talked several times over the show about these psyops, Nick Redfern being one of our major guests to really get into this deeply. Counter warfare, basically measures like this, that they tested this out in Washington, D.C. on the public. And then we have like what's going on with the Las Vegas incident with those people and the weirdness and everything that were developed around that, or what's going on in Peru. I've talked about, the people being taken by the face peelers, but then they seem to be like a military operation on these futuristic, like flying hoverboards, but they were like speaking, Spanish, and one of them spoke bad Spanish, the girl said. Our military has a history, and this is the forerunner of the CIA, of running these psychological tests and using your own superstitions against you. Or against their enemy. And yes, against their own populace. Obviously, they tested it out in Washington, D.C. Do you think any of that's changed? Do you think they're still operating under those same premises? Like,
I think it's changed in the fact that they're probably doing it more often now.
Yeah.
Like
when I say don't trust your intelligence agencies and all that, and war and everything, that they'll do anything, I have history to back me up.
Did you see that crazy hailstorm in Mexico?
Mm-mm.
It's like
Huge.
Yeah, got like a foot of ice. Like, that's just not normal.
Wow.
Yeah, like devastated.
Oh, but nothing's changing, with the weather. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's climate change. I'm saying there's global weather weirdness.
I don't think it's climate.
And
I think it's weather manipulation.
right.
We're always going to have climate change. I seen earlier a cyclone made landfall some other place. I don't even know where, like, these.
We'll have climate change if Bill Gates gets his way. He wants to screen out the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some climate change for you.
Well, that's
Man-made.
the thing. It's always changed. It's always going to change, but we're not in a crisis. They're creating the crisis. I got a really cool map the other day, an interactive map that actually shows you every state, like an earthquake map, like what if they're doing sun dimming or seeding or whatever. I mean, there's a whole map for it.
Well, if you can look it up, we can share it to the Dropbox or whatever. I forgot, we got to go to commercial break. We're going to be back with more Worldwide Web of Weird. More, we're ending this here with glowing foxes. We're going to drunk monkeys next.
Ooh.
Drunk monkeys next. But we're going to go to commercial break. And when we come back, more Worldwide Web of Weird and open lines tonight. Shorter show. And I hope everybody's having, get tomorrow. You get to spend time with your family. I am off tomorrow. But, I also going to be getting up, spending time with the family, working on the garden and stuff like that. I can't wait for Memorial Day. I hope you all get to spend time with your family. But we will do more open lines. Pretty much going to open the lines as we come back from this commercial break. You call in while we're doing articles. I'll take your phone call, join the conversation, comment on an article we're sharing, or you share your own paranormal experience. Whatever goes tonight, we'll be right back.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do voices from beyond the cold case files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Certificate A. Now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The international chart-topping, Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest. The true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, it is open lines night. That means you can call in and join the conversation tonight. We're going to continue also with an extended World Wide Web of Weird. We got more articles tonight we're going to go through. Call in while we're doing it. We'll take phone calls in between. It's a shorter show, too. When we don't have guests, we do a little bit shorter show and an extended World Wide Web of Weird and talk to you in the chat room, too. And don't forget tonight, if you want to help donate to the show, we do have YouTube Super Chat, YouTube Super Stickers, and we are on Patreon. Look up Jason Bland, Paranormal Soup, $1 a month, $2 a month. Gives you access to our chat room in there. So anybody on my Patreon, I do have a chat room open night for open lines. Specifically, you'll see open lines with today's date. Message me there if you got something. I will be keeping an eye on that. Call in tonight, though. The phone lines are 219-230-4444, 260-225-9419. Skype ID is jblandoo or jblandparanormal soup. Those are the two different Skype lines as well. We're taking your phone calls, but we got more weird to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. The other reason I can't hang in too late tonight is, man, I just got a crown like last April, and it's got to have a root canal. And it's been killing me. Like, as we were getting into the end of the World Wide Web of Weird, I'm like, I got to go to commercial break because I need to take some ibuprofen. I'm literally ibuprofen every 4 hours right now. It's like throbbing like hell right now. I'm hoping it kicks in here any minute. It's killing me. Oh, and you know how much I hate the dentist. If you're a fan of the show, I've talked about it endlessly, right?
Tooth pain and earaches, man. Those are like level.
Yeah, and I've had both.
Oh.
On the same side. But I think it's a toothache. That's actually the tooth that's been doing it. The dentist is just like, well, I'm like, dude, just lay it out for me. I've been through this. I know it's bad. You know, you're going to have to do a root canal. I get it. Anyways, me enough whining. I'm here dying, but drunk monkey. We got a drunk monkey story. You got to have a drunk monkey story. And this one was in Russia. I got Tim Binnell here from Coast to Coast. Residents of the village in Russia were forced to take cover when a pet monkey went on a whiskey-fueled rampage believed to have been brought about by his owner getting married. The bizarre incident reportedly occurred last Friday in the community of Miyiki, if you didn't say that way, when what was undoubtedly a decision that he later regretted, the husband of the animal's owner released the surly simian named Garrick from his cage. Upon finding freedom, the monkey made a beeline for a bottle of whiskey, and after drinking some of the booze, set off to wreak havoc in the village. Rampaging through the streets of Miliki, if that's how you say it, Garrick proceeded to bite 5 different individuals who were unfortunately enough to encounter the drunk monkey during their troublesome travels. Along the way, the primate picked up a variety of snacks to keep his ferocious energy up. However, this proved to be Garrick's undoing as a group of villagers cleverly distracted the creature with some sugar cookies and subsequently captured him. And this misadventure led to the monkey being sent to a nearby zoo since his owner was deemed incapable of caring for the creature. I don't think anybody should have a monkey as a pet. The dumb is likely to be particularly heartbreaking for Garrick, as in what may be the weirdest aspect of an already strange story. The animal's rampage is actually believed to have been born out of jealousy. Specifically, his owner said the creature had been acting increasingly aggressive ever since she got married a few years ago. As such, it has been suggested that Friday's incident was something of a misguided "it's him or me" ultimatum from the monkey that for the lovesick simian backfired spectacularly, as he has now probably never seen his owner again. And he's got an alcohol problem, you know. You know, what happens is that these monkeys actually mature and get more aggressive. That's what happens. Is why you shouldn't have them as pets.
And throw in a bottle of whiskey on top of that.
You remember the monkey on Friends that Ross had?
Heart broke. Yes.
They had to get him off the show because he was getting too
Violent.
old and he was going to get violent. Have you ever seen Nope?
Nope.
You ever seen that movie? You're like, nope.
Yeah,
I actually do like that movie,
Nope.
Key and Peele or whatever. That movie has a horrible, like, sideline story about a TV chimpanzee that goes literally ape crap, you know, whatever, and kills people on set. It's horrible. It's terrifying. It's a great movie. Maybe some people hate it, I know, but I liked it.
Isn't that why they got rid of the monkey, like in the show storyline? Because the monkey started to become aggressive on the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what happens when they get older.
I hated
Or they get
that
alcohol
stupid
problems.
show, but that part made me so sad.
What, you were into Ross and Rachel and their love
I
thing or
couldn't
whatever and
handle
all
it.
that? No, you can take Joey and all those people. No. Yeah,
No.
I was forced to watch. I was forced to watch Friends by like so many different people.
My neighbors always watch it and had the friends party. She'd come over. Will you make popcorn for friends? I'd
I
come
had a
over
girlfriend.
and
She went to
you know.
sleep to Friends every night. I'm like, oh god, shoot me. I had one girlfriend though was even worse. She liked Full House, and that was like, just shoot me now.
As an adult?
None of those girls were ended up being my wife. Thank God.
My nightmare story is listening to Terry Lovelace talk about waking up and having monkeys in his room. I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, but they were aliens. But yeah,
yeah.
He thought they were little monkeys.
Yeah, nope.
No.
Like the way you hate snakes is his monkeys.
Yep.
Are you scared of monkeys?
I'm giving out all your guys' kryptonite.
You have a good reason to. I mean, but more than I do of snakes, I'll admit it. I mean, snakes scare the crap out of me. There's just something about them I can't handle. But monkeys are dangerous. Chimpanzees, monkeys,
snakes.
They are dangerous.
Whiskey fueled rampage.
Yeah, man. Watch Nope. Like they really lay into how dangerous they are.
Heartbroken whiskey fueled rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't give them alcohol. Remember, the best one I ever shared was the monkey when the idiots gave it the AK-47. You remember that? That's many years ago in the World Wide Web of Weird. Because that video was going around. And then they're like, oh, look, the monkey with the AK-47. Run. Like, yeah, you don't give a gun to a monkey. You know, they have a finger to pull a trigger, you know. Oh. Anyways, moving on. So you got drunk monkeys, but you got drunk humans chasing people with blocks of cheese, yes.
I saw this in the lineup.
And it's not Florida.
I can't wait to see this.
Newfoundland. Man wielding a block of cheese attacks Newfoundland officer. Guess he was up to no Gouda. These articles, man.
Be here.
Newfoundland police have laid charges on a very irate man who attacked a patrol officer with a block of cheese. Constable James Cadigan told the Canadian press that the attack is an example of unexpected challenges the law enforcement faces while on duty. Yeah, you never expect a guy to attack you with a block of cheese. It shows why we can never let our guard down, because any moment, a block of Gouda gets shoved in your eye. You know?
If this was in Florida, the guy would be naked too, or at least in
in Florida, he'd be totally naked. The incident occurred during a domestic disturbance. God, who would have guessed? Called at 9 p.m. according to a press release. Upon arrival, officers encountered a very irate male who assaulted the officers with a block of cheese. Staff Sergeant Justin Sue wrote in an overnight report obtained by CBC. The male was arrested and damn it, stupid ad, get away, stupid ad. I'm trying to read. The male was arrested and conveyed to the St. John lockup to await court. The man was allegedly in breach of his probation. Police said the officers who was attacked did not require medical attention. They added, I hope not. Block of cheese shouldn't be that dangerous. Do we need to ban blocks of cheese now? Yeah. The angry man was taken to St. John's lockup. Canadian press reported the type of cheese used at the... Imagine be the reporter. What type of cheese did he use?
It's not Florida, but it's still St. John's. Like, he's in St. John's County.
It's a conspiracy. The angry man was taken to St. John's lockup. Canadian press reported the type of cheese used and the reason for the assault was not known. National Post has reached out to the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary for comment. The man was arrested and charged with assaulting a police officer in breach of probation, according to the news release. Well, as the world come to, people have to attack people with blocks of cheese, please, you know.
Is this the cheese you assaulted the officer with, sir? That's nacho cheese.
That's nacho cheese.
Hey, guys, when it's a long world wide web, we're not all paranormal. Sometimes they're stupid.
Did you see the article where the man bit a chunk out of a deputy's head?
No.
It's like a hole.
Oh, God.
In his head.
Human bite marks are bad anywhere, but in the head, oh, my God.
Damn monkeys.
Glad I decided not to be a cop.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
I have the patience for that job.
And a continuing story for us here is AI. Tucker Jeeves! No. They got this shorter version of an article, but still pretty long, from Unexplained Mysteries. I don't know if I want to get into all of it. But the title and premise of this is, at least the shortened version, could AI be to blame for the lack of contact for intelligent aliens? And the premise is, and I wonder what your guys' thoughts are, is it inevitable? This is kind of a Battlestar Galactica revamp show. It was better than the original premise, is that they kept repeating the same cycle. The civilizations would get to a point where they're going to create AI and advanced artificial intelligence that was going to then turn around and kill everybody and destroy everything. And then life starts all over again. And the new life, the new planet, goes through evolutions and changes, and technology gets better and better. And then they create AI that ends up killing and destroying. And this is consistent. Or they just destroy and they never come back. And that this is the ultimate end of all civilizations throughout the galaxy. End by AI. Do you think that's, a good possibility? I mean, it is. Look,
I do. I think that's why sometimes we say, how was this other civilization so much smarter than us back then than we are now? Like, because that was the point they got to before,
they vetted AI.
Yeah, before
Maybe.
whatever happened and they had to reset.
Same can be said for nuclear, weapons. That's an inevitable. That's even more of an inevitability for a civilization to get to destroy themselves before they get to AI. Look at that whole Fallout show. That's on the premise like in the 50s we went full bonkers with the radioactive stuff. For a civilization, that's your first stepping stone is nuclear. You're going to discover that before you discover AI, and are you going to blow yourselves up before then? Think how close we came with the Cuban Missile Crisis. If you know your history on that, we came so close, and that's not the only time.
Why we signed the treaty to begin with.
Now we're not, and we're still not on the woods on the new nuclear annihilation option. But now we're just going to add AI as the new thing, which Terminator did both. AI comes and blows everything up with nuclear weapons. Maybe they're both one and the same as the end for all civilizations.
But I read something last week where so-and-so is making this device that's supposed to actually lure the aliens to us.
Now, is that a good idea?
Yeah, really.
I mean, Stephen Hawking, the man didn't believe in God or anything else, but he definitely believed in the possibility of alien Borg-like creatures that'll come here and destroy us if we send too many singles out to space. And that's one thing I did agree with him on.
Because they're probably sick of having things shot at them. Like, dude, we see you all. We're watching you all. If we cared, we'd go down there. We don't want to.
The thing is, I think the aliens have been here, always here.
Mm-hmm.
Lure them down. Maybe lure them down. Maybe land. Just don't talk to our leaders.
Yeah.
This is a long article from Explain Mysteries, is the summary of it, and then the original article I have up there, I'm not going to read the whole thing or anything like that from the conversation. I think it was the original article. But do you think that is a possibility that, life, this is the cycle of life throughout the universe. They get to a technological point, create AI, and it destroys them.
Could be.
Maybe.
Or can we create AI that's going to be useful and helpful and like data and, or be an android, like artificial intelligent, and be helpful and nice? I mean, is that possible? Is that, no? Well, I don't know.
It would be a great thing. It could be used for such good, but then there's humans involved and they aren't good. So that's where the dark side would come in.
I also think the dark side of it is the possibility of the merger of AI and transhumanism.
Yes.
And that could be what if we do encounter life out there, it's going to be half robot, half biological, like the Borg.
I did a story last week about the first head transplants they're starting.
Yeah, I know. Did you see there's like a video going around of this machine that can do it, like they're planning?
Is that what that is? And they lay them out and then, so you see how all that can go right there.
And then, we were talking about this, weren't we, in the Messenger? Was it the Messenger we're talking about this? And I or was it in your post maybe about it, where I was like, well, then the rich can be just, it'll be just for the rich and they'll be immortal.
Mm-hmm.
People won't be immortal. The head eventually dies. Well, in a sense, they'll be immortal. They'll live a lot longer and they'll have the money to do it and you won't. And then they'll be like gods.
And those will be the humanoids because, Elon says that, and Bezos, or is it Bezos, the ones making that stupid clock, that bicentennial clock in the mountain, they want the humanoids in like so many millions of years to be able to fly down and visit this clock. Not millions.
we
of
destroyed
years, but
ourselves.
millions of years. Yeah. So that would be like half humans, people flying down. Like every 100 years, another chamber opens up in this like weird clock in the mountain.
You could spend all that money on like trying to save humanity, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having that conversation Wednesday about, if you could, would you want to be immortal?
Right. You want to live forever. No, sorry. Bad Freddie Mercury impression. But like I said, if that's the option that happens, if humans emerge with AI, whatever, if it happens here in our society, it's going to be the rich that get it. That's who will get it. Wild Palms was a horrible TV miniseries, but I still loved it, with Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
And it was like this VR thing, whatever. Like everybody was doing VR back then. This is before VR. Like they could put on these glasses and it really be in this environment. Well, this rich guy in the show literally is paying billions of dollars so he can make himself immortal inside the VR world, basically. And an upload. What happens in that? People go to this VR heaven, where they could live forever. Well, the rich get the real nice VR heaven, and everybody else gets like a hell-like VR. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying the rich will get it. If there's immortality, it'll be a rich a-hole with a penis rocket, and he's going to live for a long, long time now, like Bezos or something. Like I said, it'll be a rich guy with a penis rocket. Like, oh yeah, here, put my head on a new clone body. Thanks. Or take my brain out. I mean, how long do you think the brain can last, too?
That's what I was wondering.
Miss a couple of weeks at work, guys. I got to go have a head transplant.
But the brain eventually is going to give out. I don't think you can keep that immortal. But maybe they can. Genetics and all this stuff.
Because they're growing
all this stuff they're
brains
doing.
now.
Yeah.
With the cells, those little itty bitty brains. Oh, I don't.
There's already a lot of little itty bitty brains around. It's a problem. People call in. Phone lines are open. You can join this conversation at any time. We're just talking, hanging out, going over weird stories. Let me get my phone lines up on here. 219-230-4444, 260-225-9419, or Skype ID oojblandoo or jblandparanormalsoup. Those are the lines. Call in. What we got going on in the chat room? We got more stories here, but let's see. We like that old anime in the 90s called Ghost in the Shell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, so many friends were so into Ghost in the Shell.
I remember that.
We're close to idiocracy. The grid will shut down before we can create Skynet. That's more probably truthful, yes.
Well, we're already got people embedded in our...
No, Corey, nobody's called in. Call in, buddy. Next up, we got study determines top states for spooky searches. Don't put it up yet. Don't put it up. Don't put it up. So everybody take your guess before he puts it up. What's the top state for most spooky searches on the internet?
Most spooky searches?
Yeah. Odd study looking at web searches for ghost-related terms has determined the states that seem to have the most and least interest in the spooky side of the paranormal. What state? Don't pull up the article yet. Let's get the guesses.
You're guessing what is the state?
What state has the most people searching for spooky paranormal things on the internet? Don't
Ohio.
put it up yet. All right, your guess is Ohio. What you got, Rob?
I'm gonna say California.
California.
Or Texas.
All right,
I'll go with Texas.
All right. Well, you and Drake there, Texas. I got Heather going Louisiana. Michigan from Janice. No, Gary, I'll tell you now, not Indiana. We are boring. Boring people here in Indiana. We're the few here, Gary. Massachusetts.
Utah might be a good one, too. Though.
Utah. Anybody?
Just because of Skinwalker Ranch.
I didn't even put thought in it. That just popped
Florida.
in my head.
Just weird people there. You don't need to get interested in the paranormal. Just the weird people there, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for the answer or got any more guesses? Arizona from Drake. Now you're taking multiple guesses there, Drake. So is Rob.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and reveal it. Bump. It is West Virginia.
I was going to say
Oh,
West Virginia, a
Ooh.
lot of history there, though.
Renee.
Yeah. The odd research was reportedly conducted by the online gambling site JeffBet. The study took the total number of monthly searchers for paranormal terms such as ghost hunting and spirit box for each state and then compared the data to their population size to create an average for each location. I would have guessed, if it would have been me before I knew the article, I would have guessed Pennsylvania. That's what I was going to go with.
Yeah, that'd be
When all the numbers were ultimately crunched, the state of West Virginia came out on top with 403 searches per 100,000 people each month. The home of the Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster was followed by Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, and Nevada. Nobody named any of the states in the top five. At the very bottom of the list was Mississippi, with a mere 161 monthly searches per 100,000 people. Just above the states in the bottom five were New Jersey, Louisiana, South Carolina, and Idaho. I don't have all the whole thing to tell you what your state fell into. The original article here is, where is it? What is it from? WVNSTV.com, and then there's Coast to Coast has it on theirs. I don't think they have a whole list of the states where they didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
I was initially thinking Virginia.
Arizona was number 10 on the list. I got the top 10. Utah was number 6.
Hey,
But
but
yeah, I don't have any of the
Ohio
rest.
is near in the little area where the other paranormal stuff is.
The lowest, like you said, Mississippi, then New Jersey, Louisiana, South Carolina, Idaho, Delaware, South Dakota. Florida is on the bottom. Montana and Maryland. Those are the bottom 10. You know,
Where's California?
doesn't show me like where Indiana ended up or California. And the other terms were like Ouija board as well.
Mm.
All right. Make sure my app is on. I'll try to get to the next article. Hold on. We got spooky searches here in America. Over in England, they still got witches suing wizards, or wizards suing witches. Next up, I got this is the original article from Daily Mail. It's much longer, so I'm going with Tim Binnell's Coast to Coast. Witch pleads guilty to harassing renowned British wizard. In a weird story out of England, a woman dubbed a White Witch of Rye is facing possible jail time after pleading guilty to harassing a renowned wizard. The strange story reportedly started several years ago when self-proclaimed sorceress Barbara Mara Lane connected with esteemed occult practitioner Alfred Douglas by way of course on magic that was their teaching. The relationship seemingly blossomed as soon as she began visiting him at his home to pursue his collection of historic tomes and ultimately wound up moving into his residence in 2020. It was then Douglas' family says things took a troubling turn. When you let them move in, that's usually when it does.
Find a rabbit boiling on the stove.
They became inseparable, nephew Paul Wilson Patterson said, laminating that she controlled what he ate, what he drank, the clothes he wore, who he saw, and when he saw them. Their concerns about their influence over the elderly wizard were compounded when they discovered that he had changed his will to make her his sole beneficiary of his rather sizable estate. As if all this weren't worrisome enough, Wilson Patterson asserts that the witch would fly into fits of rage wherein she would go around smashing glassware, ceramics, and things in the house. Well, she is a witch. Sorry, my wife would hit me over the head for that one. I mean, she's broken some glass. Leaving Evers understandably terrified. We thought we'd visit him and find him dead at the bottom of the stairs, Wilson Patterson's wife said, liking Lane to a succubus. The nightmare situation reached its nadir last May when the White Witch snapped at the site of a celebratory decorations for King Charles' coronation and allegedly destroyed Edward's greenhouse before throwing him out of his own home. The rival, the Wilson Patterson, did little to calm matters, as Lane is said to have attacked him as well and poured tea on his wife. The Hunage Witch was subsequently arrested and charged with 7 different crimes, including stalking and assault. Answering the allegations in court on Monday, Lane pleaded guilty to criminal damage as well as nonviolent harassment and may wind up receiving jail time for the offense.
Sounds like they need to take the W off of that witch and replace it with a B.
Yeah. Well, look at the picture. Zoom in on her. Go ahead. Can you zoom in? They let her into her home, and that's when the trouble started.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not judging a book by its cover, but you let her into your home. I'm just saying.
I mean, this is, you got to think, people's.
Yeah. It sounds like it was elder abuse, though, that she took advantage of him, and he was pretty elderly and not with it.
Yeah.
Look at the. Oh, it's another picture. As I look at the lady looking.
But they call her a witch, but I bet she's a con artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many con artists go into the paranormal realm and call themselves mediums and witches and all this kind of stuff. And they were crazy as hell, too, usually.
Some sort of gypsy.
Giving bad names to real witches.
Yeah. She saw an old guy that was loaded and was like, I'm going to get me some of that.
And he's into the paranormal and cult and all that stuff. And
she
you're
like
crazy, I'm crazy.
him like a Manson.
Yeah. She had a plan.
On to
That's
people
not
who
a
actually...
white witch. A white witch wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
On to a more positive story. My article will load. There it goes. Psychic credited with helping locate missing Louisiana woman's remains. Family of Louisiana woman who went missing last year has credited a psychic medium with helping them locate her remains. According to a local media report, the remarkable case began February 2023 when Teresa Jones mysteriously vanished. After police searched failed to find any signs of the missing woman, her desperate family turned to Wisconsin-based psychic medium Carolyn Clapper in the hopes that she would provide some answers. In response, where did I lost? My dang article. I lost where I was at because the article flipped on me. In response, they were given the unfortunate news that their mother had passed away and amazingly detailed instructions on where her remains could be found. Recounting the insights she received from the departed Jones, Clapper explained that she kept showing me this pronounced log in a forest and indicated that my body will be there. Armed with this information, her daughter, Ashley Desi, set out searching the next day and to her profound surprise stumbled upon a sizable landmark that her mother's spirit had seemingly described to the psychic. I immediately got ill, shaky, and sick. Deese recalled as upon a closer inspection, it was there that Jones' remains were chillingly found in the position and condition that Clapper had described during her phone call the previous evening. Although authorities ultimately concluded that Jones died due to an accidental drowning brought on by methamphetamine intoxication, her daughter suspect that something far more sinister may have occurred. It doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense, Desi mused, lamenting that skeptical police have refused to speak with Clapper despite the psychic's uncanny description of where her body would be found, as well as various other details surrounding her death. Now, over a year since the mother's passing, the family has gone public with their story, presumably in the hopes that the authorities will take a second look at the curious case and any clues that they believe the medium could provide. And here's the problem with this. Why have the police not spoken to her? You would think you would have some interest in knowing why does this lady know or knew how this body would be found and where to be found.
Yeah.
Psychic or not, you should follow up on that, right? Right?
Would think.
But they haven't.
Because
some police departments would.
You're supposed to follow these anyway, and then it's like, what if they're just saying they're psychic and they're their actual killer, you know?
But you know what? Most police departments go, oh, case closed, methamphetamine. That's how she drowned.
Yeah.
Case closed. We don't need to talk to nobody. Nothing to see here. Moving along. Case closed. We can file another dead body away.
Conference and make the community think they're safe with their false sense of security.
You know, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But you'd think they'd be interested to know why this woman would know, have all these precise details. You know, there'd be some interest, some way to know. So that a year later, this family's coming out with this story to try to get them to do something because they believe there's much more to the story of their mother's death. And I'm sure the psychic might have provided more information to them that they're not sharing to the public for reasons.
If they can get it open on a cold case, get a cold case department to look at it, that would be really helpful. And they probably would then look at that.
You know, I understand. I would, you know, why law enforcement, you know, says, you know, psychics can't be used or they're, you know, it's because they're what they present is not evidence credible in court. But a lead is a lead, and if it saves a life or gets closure for a family like this, why not? Why not use it? Especially if they've been credible. And this is whatever this psychic, her name. Let me get her name again. Where was it?
There's a lot of departments over the years that have been
Carolyn
more
Clapper.
curious about this.
Carolyn Clapper was the medium, and more power to her and her ability. You know, how long are we going to ignore this as a reality that people can do this? People are. People have. I've had doing this show 9 years, you know, and in the research I've done before it, I've had countless stories of mediums having this ability. They're not God. They're not going to know things 100%. They're getting messages they're trying to interpret, you know.
And some departments that trust them so much will actually bring them on their case. It's like a regular thing for them to now pick up their trusted medium to help them solve certain cases in certain states.
I knew a guy whose family had ties to the FBI, family in the FBI, and they had a dog go missing. And literally, this guy's, and they searched everywhere, everything, and they, the guy said, "Here, let me help you out. I know a guy in the FBI. The FBI turns to. It's a secret, but he's the legit medium. He'll literally give you, just tell him what you want to know. He'll give you the spot, probably the location where the dog's at and everything." And he did that. This guy said, "We did. My family wrote him a letter like we were instructed, told him the dog's name, where he was, and he gave us literally coordinates where we could find the body, and they found the body of the dog."
Right on. Yeah.
Like, this guy was like dead on serious, and the FBI used him, but they didn't want it public.
And there's people like that. There's crime shows I've watched where they've literally showed them with their mediums figuring out what trucker, you know, picked up these girls, and they never would have caught it without
John Wayne Gacy. Wayne Gacy, there was a medium involved in that as well.
Forgot about that.
That helped. You know, there's been a number of the major serial cases mediums have been involved in. And yeah, there are ones that could lead them down a wrong path. It definitely should be used for cold cases. If you run out of leads, you might as well try something different. And that's where a lot of these cops end up turning to them. You know, but the fact that you wouldn't want to talk to this medium and they knew exactly where the body was, pretty much the description how it was,
would give information that you didn't release to the public and could tell you something only you guys knew. It's like, that's got to be enough to make you want to look into it.
Yeah. We were flipping through old movies the other night to what to watch with me and the boys on boys' night, and they saw Dead Zone. They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Ooh." One of my favorite Stephen King books and movies, Christopher Walken or Cowbell Band. You know, oh, you shake their hand, and like, I goes, "You know what it's about? What would you do if you could see the future and you knew somebody was going to destroy the whole planet with an Armageddon nuclear war? What would you do?" You know, would you kill him to stop him? Deep questions for an 8 and 12-year-old. They're looking at me. I'm like, that's Dead Zone. Don't get me started. Love that book. Way better than the movie, as much as I love Christopher Walken. All right. TV show was in. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Where are we at? Nobody wants to call in? You want to join the lines? Okay. We got a ghostly encounter. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we've talked about, hold the video on this. We've talked about this this kind of experience lately we've get on video. Now, we got a phone call. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to take that. We got somebody on the line. We're going to get to them in a second. Hold on. Maybe they'll have some talk of this. Hopefully they're still on the line. Yes. Okay, hold on. We're going to get to this here real quick. Security camera in Peruvian market captured a guard seemingly speaking to an unseen person at the main center of the now viral video has come forward with a fantastic claim that the footage shows him having a conversation with a ghost girl. The cheerleading scene reportedly unfolded in the city of Ventanilla last year, though the footage appears to have only popped up online earlier this month. And since then, it has spread like wildfire on social media in Peru. In the video, security guard can be seen walking around towards the center of an empty room and moving his hand in a manner akin to petting a child on his head. Okay, so we're seeing more of these videos now. Remember, I first had the one that I really feel was really legit, where the door's open and you see a security guard kind of talking to somebody, and it's gone. And that was a story that was pretty interesting. But then there was that fake TikTok one. I really think it was fake, where you hear him on the radio go, "There's nobody there," you know. I think that was fake. Is this fake? Go ahead and play this. There's no audio, you know, to this. And it's like some abandoned building, it looks like to me. Like, why would you have a security guard there and it's all lit up? To me, this looks staged. I don't know what you guys think. There's no audio to tell us. And who touches some unknown little girl? Would you touch her? Wouldn't touch no kid. It's like he's supposed to be patting her in the head and stuff. It just looks staged to me. This is going viral. It interests me, if it was true, like the first one we really covered, because would a ghost show up? If it doesn't show up on camera, but somebody's seeing it physically there, they believe it's there. Is it a mental projection? That's an interesting case of this. But I think more of these videos are going to pop up like this because it's now getting kind of faked after the very first one. I don't know. This could be real. But what's he patrolling there? This place looks completely abandoned dump. And no provenance, really.
Yeah.
Are they going to start faking these things? I don't know.
Did you guys bring up that balloon one that they just had the other day where they said the security guard handed like a balloon to like a ghost kid or a kid and then
no, I haven't seen that.
Floated behind him?
See, there's another. Was it on TikTok?
No, I don't think
No?
so.
But I'm saying that's what I think's happening. We're going to see more of these like
And it
this.
looked
I don't
like
know if we can trust
airflow,
them.
like they were testing it. Like he put the balloon up, and then as he walked, it looked like it followed the airflow. But
All right, well, we got somebody on the line. Before we go to the next story, let's see who do we got. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, Jason. This is Ariane. I figured I'd start. I was waiting for somebody else to call first, but
Well, hey, you're first. Always be first.
yeah. I wanted to kind of add on to what Jamie was saying about the head transplant thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear an article about that, and they're going to have robots doing the surgery.
That's what I was talking about because I saw a video where they're showing the robot how it'll work, removing the heads like it's like almost a factory line.
Yeah, it's a new business, and it's like a Kickstarter business where they're asking for money to fund this. I'm
sure there's a bunch of rich
Kickstarter,
penis rocket billionaires out there that are going to help them.
Yeah, like that. And I'm sure it's only going to be the rich people anyway.
Yep.
My question is, if you're like 80 years old and you're got so many health and medical issues, you're going to pick the 35-year-old surfing guy, with a six-pack and everything else like that, right? So,
What I think the plan is to
like
clone your body.
body.
I think that the plan is to clone your body. To clone your body, a younger version of your body, and put your head on top.
No. They're actually going to put it on a body.
Yeah, I thought
Like
it was
a
gonna
donor
be
body?
or like a robot body.
Yeah.
Robot body is another one.
Yeah.
Like,
The other
like
thing
Nixon's head.
on the robot, and then you have no pain, no nothing. If you had a titanium body, I used to joke a long time ago if I was just a head with a titanium body.
I honestly think it's going to go towards the fact that they're going to try to regrow people's bodies. Honestly, I think that's the path they're trying to take.
Because then is it a body
That's
transplant or
possible.
a head transplant?
It's a head transplant on a younger version of your own body. But that means they have to grow a headless body, or they grow a body they take a head off of. I think
Why
that's
even
the
do
future.
that?
Right now, it's donors. They would need a donor.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate plan, I think.
I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. I also heard of something they're thinking of. I think it's like really weirder than the head transplant. Some kind of inoculation where it changes your DNA, and as it changes your DNA, it also gets rid of whatever medical or health issues you have. So
Brought to you by Pfizer.
in doing this, I don't know if you live longer, but maybe your quality of life, maybe you get a few more
Pfizer
years,
announced. Are you talking about because Pfizer announced, and I'm saying like might as well say Lord Vertelmar, like AI, the AI algorithm on YouTube's going nuts right now as I say that name, has a drug that they've reportedly working on that could cure cancer or cure all these ailments or genetic whatever miracle drug they're talking, and like stocks rising because they were really lost a lot of money, and thank God. But we'll see what happens with that. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't.
I've actually heard about that
Yeah, no.
structuring, but it being administered a different way.
Look, I talked a few weeks ago about them regrowing your teeth by genetically manipulating your genes to basically turn the gene back on that where you have teeth growth. You know, would you do it? I have bad teeth. I'm dying tonight. You know, I'm saying I don't know if I'd do it though.
Yeah. Well, don't they have haven't they done transplant with humans and like pig organs?
Yes. And there's been a lot of failure with that too, I think. The where it's moving to, because originally the science, I think, they were, they looked at using gorilla and pig organs and all that stuff. But where it's moving to in the organ donation segment, where it will move to in the head transplant segment, is regrowing your organs from your own cells, so your body doesn't reject.
Like they're growing the brains right now too.
Yeah. Well, what I predicted with the brains is a new computer that is biologic computers, because look how fast synapses and transfer of information can happen within a brain compared to what a computer can do. And they're going to use that hybrid of the cells that will grow to make pathways and computers that use biological agents that are synthetically grown. And that's
and
scary.
I think that's what those cell clusters are for. It has to do with like
mini
computers.
brains.
I don't know if you remember this also, Jason, but the original television show Star Trek, they had so many things that maybe were laughed at when it was on, but when you think of it now, a lot of the stuff they use, it's come to pass. So I mean, you wonder why. You wonder where they got the information, and how
or is it just buried somewhere deep within our unconscious where we'll go? All these things are inevitable for human discovery, and it's just deep in our subconscious. And Gene Roddenberry and the other creators of Star Trek undug that in a sense from their creative minds, because there's not just them. Jules Verne. I mean, you read Jules Verne, and he was way ahead of his time. I mean, there are people that have, I think, predicted a lot of things, because when you let the imagination go and just be free to create, it taps into something. If you listen to the show, many of the guests, there is no time. There's no future or past or present. It's all happening at once, so you could tap into, I guess, to future technologies. Look at Da Vinci. I mean, look at the stuff Da Vinci did and wrote. I mean, he was really way ahead of his time,
Yep.
I think some brains, some minds can just tap into that technology that's in there. It's all there. It's all waiting for us in the collective unconscious. Yeah,
he was drawing helicopters. Now, did they have helicopters back then? Did they have anything like that back then?
They didn't have any machines.
He
was making blueprints and machines, and of course, sadly, a lot of the stuff he was coming up with were killing machines ideas. He was drawing tanks before there were tanks. Submarines before there were submarines,
Well, makes me wonder where he was getting those ideas from.
Yeah, But that's what I'm saying. Does he tap into it through, like, his brain's open to tap into the collective unconscious of man, humans, not man, sorry, men and women. The human perspective of there's no time, so every future invention we can make is out there in the cosmos for him to discover. Like, I don't know. If you look at like the invention of the phone and stuff like that, there was multiple people at once inventing the same thing at the same time in history, separately from each other. That's happened multiple times. It's like at periods of time, something awakens in our collective unconscious, and people tune into it, are able to tune into new technologies.
Yeah.
And that means, is that ultimately what our end is? That we ultimately will tune into we're making AI, or we're ultimately making our end destruction.
Yeah.
Or a new evolution, because we become transhuman and we become one with the AI.
Yeah. The sad thing I think about, though, is that anything that seems to be new, like the AI or any transplants, head transplants or whatever, it always gets twisted into something that can turn, and I use the term loosely, evil,
A hammer can be used to build a house or to kill somebody with, beat them over the head.
Yep. Yep.
Depends on the person wielding it.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Look at who has the idea.
That's what it is, but it's our choice. It's free will. You know, we can come up with
Yeah.
beautiful inventions. This is what I think the Neuralink thing. I think there's brilliant things about Neuralink that could help people. I saw just recently the interview the guy who's being tested, and it'd be great to help him. It'd be great to give him the ability to do things he's never been able to do because of his disability. You know, I think that's awesome. It's just my fear that, you know, some rich guy's going to like make me into, you know, super smart, live forever, cybernet man or something. I don't know. And then there's a cult of people that would like turn themselves into half robots, and you know, my sci-fi brain goes nuts with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
They were like half human and half robot or something.
Yeah, it was nanonite technology that turned them. I do got somebody else calling in. Do you have anything last you wanted to say or ask? Or
No. Just everybody have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much for calling in.
You know, thank you.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Did we get the... Nope. I tried to grab the... just missed it. I don't know if I can see who just called. All right. Whoever was just calling, try calling again. Try calling again. Somebody was just calling in and it's not telling me the number because it's from my sideline thing. All right. Where are we at? We'll see. Wait. Another person calls in here, hopefully. I had somebody else trying to call in. Just try calling again. Back to my notes. Where am I at? Yeah, I don't know about the ghost girl thing, though. I feel like this is just going to be like a new trend of TikTok viral fake ghost videos now. It's just what I feel like is going to happen. There was a really good one we shared years ago. I felt like was pretty legit.
That one I felt was pretty legit, too.
Yeah.
Everything
But
else feels like copycat. The copycat one came out really soon after that one. After that first one.
Oh, I think I doubled an article. I think the next one I had is the same AI one. I don't know how I doubled the article. Lack of contact. I did double an article. How did I do that? Oh, I wonder what article I'm missing. Must be missing something. Number 13. Oh, I had 13. I never erased. I see what I did. Okay.
There you go.
All right, we're almost down to the end of the World Wide Weird of articles. This is one of the last two I had to talk about. You know I had to talk about that. The evil Von Villain. $1 million, Klaus Schwab, to step down from executive role from the WEF. He is the WEF. The WEF would not exist without Klaus Schwab. Klaus. Dude, he reminds me of the villain, actually. I mean, he reminds me of a Von villain, but he reminds me of the villain, actually, in Bill and Ted's second movie, whatever I think it was. You know? That's what he reminds me. He sounds like him. He looks like him. He just needs a big black suit or something and, some devious, time travel plan. World Economic Forum confirmed Tuesday that founder Klaus Schwab is moving away from this day-to-day management of the organization after more than 50 years at the helm. The forum said that the move was part of a multi-year strategy to change its management structure, shifting governance to its president and managing board. Borge Brendi is currently president of the WEF. The forum did not reveal who would succeed Schwab and become the face of the elite annual meetings in Davos, Switzerland. Since 2015, the World Economic Forum has been transforming from a convening platform to a leading global institution for public-private cooperation. As part of that transformation, the organization has also been undergoing a planned governance evolution from a founder-managed organization to one where a president and a managing board assume full executive responsibility. He's been running the whole thing like a dictator. It's been his vision. This has been his baby. World domination, baby. You will own nothing and be happy. That's this guy.
Yeah.
And I want nothing with them to do with us. The non-for-profit think tank confirmed that Schwab would transition to a role as chairman of the board of trustees, so he's not totally gone. It's added that the board would be organized around 4 strategic committees to further reinforce the impact of our work. What is your work? What do you do? WEF said that change in leadership will be completed before the next Davos gathering in January 2025. Schwab plans were initially announced in an email to staff on Tuesday, according to a report from the news outlet Semaphore. The 86-year-old succession has been the source. The 86-year-old succession has been the source of much speculation over recent years, with potential replacements including his children or Brendy. However, the organization has been tight-lipped about its intentions until now. A lot of people thought his children would take over. I don't care. Screw the WEF.
Yeah, I thought he said one of his sons was going to take over.
He has a son that's probably going to take over and be a part of this big time. You know he will. It's just like, what's the other rat bastard? Soros has a son.
Yeah,
that's mainly taking over for him now.
Yeah, that's
because these guys are old as hell. But they're still up to their Bond villain crap.
And that's what they always do. They pass it on. That's how these societies and groups and stuff keep going.
This is the jackass that went on a beach wearing like a thong.
Yeah.
Like thing in front of children.
Yeah.
And you ever see him dressed up with his people? He looks like he's in a frickin' cult. They wear like these cult outfits together.
Yeah.
And his like entourage. And he talks like a Bond villain.
Or like he's going to tie you to a train track.
Yeah. Or he's just going to hold a big white fluffy cat and put his finger in his mouth and go, $1 billion. I want lasers with I want sharks with lasers on their heads, you know?
Yep.
Oh,
exactly.
Screw Klaus Schwab. Screw him. Good, he's retiring. Go away. All right, who do we got? Whoever's on the phone, don't go away. I got a couple people calling.
This is Corey Cole.
Oh, who do we got?
Corey Cole.
Hey, Corey. How you doing?
Hey, Jason.
Hey, good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. Is this your first time calling in?
Yeah, this show. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm honored.
Thank you.
So what you got for us tonight?
Oh, I'm from southern Oklahoma, where the Red River separates from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I live about probably 5 miles from the river. And I guess I can start off with the first paranormal experience I ever had.
And it's with
this was
this is in this area where this river is in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I live about 7 miles north of the Red River, right at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, tell us.
And okay. Well, this this basically, there were 6 of us, and it was Halloween night, 1995. And we were just riding around. There was a bunch of grass fires in the area, and all the kids had went trick-or-treating early, so hardly nobody was around. And one of the girls that was with us said, "You want to go to a haunted cemetery?" And I said, "Sure. I don't believe in that. I'll go."
That's how these stories usually begin.
Yeah, this changed everyone's life right here, this particular night. And there was me, 3 of my friends, and these 2 girls that I barely even knew at the time. And we went out to this place, and it said Salem Cemetery, established 1906, which would have been right around statehood.
Yeah.
But this was still Oklahoma territory right here at the bottom.
Yeah.
And we pull up to the gate, and I said, "So this is the haunted cemetery, huh?" She said, "Yeah." So we just parked at the gate so we didn't get blocked in. I'm thinking I don't want to get caught by somebody and get blocked into where we can't get out. So I said, "Leave the pickup at the gate." So we go in, and I told my friend Clinton, we were in his pickup, and I said, "Leave the headlights on so we can see in here." So we went in, and something caught my attention to the right, and it was a bunch of headstones that were 1800s. And I thought to myself, man, this must be a before it was established, this must have been some small cemetery. So I'm sitting there looking at the headstones right at the gate, and everybody else starts walking inside towards the middle. And all of a sudden I hear everybody running. And I turn to look. And what do you do when everybody's running? You know, you take off running with them. And
Survival,
everybody piled in the pickup. And I said, what's going on? Man, get out of here. Get out of here. I said, hold on a second. What is going on? And one of my closest friends, still to this day, was one of the guys. And I looked at him and I said, what is it? And he goes, I don't know, Corey. I couldn't tell you. And I said, well, I want to go back. I want to see it. And my first thought was, you know, like maybe a bull. Well, there's a lot of cattle around here in southern Oklahoma. I figured a bull got in there, got after him or something. And they said, that's not a bull. And I said, well, I want to go back.
Yeah.
And the girls are going, no. And I was like, I'm going back. I said, Clinton, turn around, let's go back. So we go back, park the truck at the gate, just like we did at first, and walked through the gate. We opened the gate, walked in, and I said, where? And they just pointed, keep walking that direction, which keep walking south. And I said, to what? And they said, just keep walking till you get to two headstones with a little fence around it, its own fence. And I said, what's there? Just go to it. Just go to it. Well, the girls, they got scared to stay in the pickup by themselves, so they come with us. You know, they're scared to death to go in, but they don't want to be left alone in the truck.
Yeah.
Well, we get about probably 50 feet from it, and my friend says, it's right there. And I said, okay, what's the deal? And he said, walk up to it. And I said, what's going to happen? He goes, just walk up to it. And I got probably about 10 feet from it. And I didn't know what this was at the time, but static electricity charged up in the air. And to me at first, I thought it was the wind blowing.
Yeah.
Because the grass started waving. And like I said, there were wildfires out east of us, so a lot of smoke was in the air. And I remember looking up at the sky and thinking, man, I wish I had a camera so I could take a picture of the moon with the smoke, the way the smoke was moving through the air. But it made it real difficult to see that night, too. It was about a half moon.
Right.
And like I said, I get about 10 feet from it, and all of a sudden I hear popping, just like it's hard to describe, but it sounded like a rattle. Are you guys familiar with Native American artifacts and stuff where they make the turtle shell rattles?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only thing I could, tie it to that I've heard before. So I just stop in my tracks and I feel this static electricity around this thing. And my friend Clinton goes, get up in there, get close. I said, man, I can feel it right here. The hair stood up on my arms. And he said, get in there closer. And I said, hang on a second. And I put my arm in it and walked the perimeter around it to feel if it was all the way around. And it was all the way around. It was like a bubble around that thing. But when you would scoot up close to that fence, it got more intense. And I got about a foot from the little short wire fence, and it felt like a freaking snake wrapped around my leg and was shocking me. And scared the hell out of me. So I said, let's get out of here. We took off running again back to the pickup, but I got behind the wheel this time. We all bailed in just in order, in the order we got to the truck, and I backed out and I started to leave, and I stopped about an eighth of a mile down the road from it, and I hit the brakes. I put the pickup in park, and I turned the interior light on, and I turned around and looked at my friend, Jeremy, and I said, I'm going back. And the girls are like, no, Corey. And I said, someone's messing with us. There's got to be a logical explanation for this. It's Halloween. Maybe. I said, did someone know we were coming out here? No one knew. So we go back, and I'm like, going to figure this out. So I wasn't ballsy enough to get inside the fence line of this grave.
Yeah.
But I got up closer to it, and like I said, there was lots of smoke in the air. It was only about a half moon. And I started looking in the grave, and I could see when I would get up close to it and the static would start making the grass wave. I could see something whipping right on top of one of the graves, and I thought it was a snake.
Yeah.
And immediately I thought, man, there's rattlesnakes out here because we've got
the rattle.
Yeah, I heard the rattle again, and I thought, that's a rattlesnake. That's a bunch of rattlesnakes in there. That's, logical explanation.
I'd be done. I'd be done. Oops, rattlesnakes, I'm gone.
Yeah, so I get to looking at it, and I said, man, I can't really dial in on it and step in it at the same time because the electricity was so distracting. And I told one of my friends, I said, hey, man, just stick your leg over the fence. I need to watch this thing and figure out what it is. He goes, I ain't sticking my leg over that. So I get up closer and closer to it. And my friend Jeremy, he's kind of a knucklehead too. So he scooted in there with me. And I said, what does that look like to you? And I was sitting there thinking, it looks like a human spine is what yeah. And it looked like it was coming out of the ground, but laying flat, just like it kind of, I don't know.
You
like
think
if
that's
someone
what
was
wrapped
buried
around
under-
your leg?
No. When I got close to the fence, I could feel something wrap around my leg, and it was shocking me.
Okay.
But it, like I said, it felt like a snake wrapped around my leg, but there wasn't a snake. It just gave me that sensation.
Yeah.
And but the rattling is what made me. I'm looking for a logical explanation here because I don't believe in any of this till this night.
But you're seeing a spine. You say you're seeing a spine now.
It looked like a spine coming out of the ground, but at an angle and laying flat. Have you ever seen those little wooden snakes that you hold and they kind of make a serpentine movement?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see them at craft shows and stuff. They look pretty real.
Yeah, and you can
They're
hold
pretty
it.
realistic.
It'll kind of like move with the joints.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of the motion it was making, like a serpentine whipping motion.
I'd be done.
But when you back away from it, it would die down. It whatever it was, it didn't like us getting close. And on the way back, I was like, Jeremy, what did that look like? Whipping like that on top of that grave. And he said, looked like a spine. I said, okay, I'm not crazy, But after we decided to leave that night, the two girls and two of my other guy friends, they would never go back out there again. They don't even like talking about it. And I tried to get everybody together to go back Halloween night a few years ago, all 6 of us.
Like a reunion.
Yeah, and see if we could make something happen again. But the other girl that was with us, I talked to her on Facebook years ago before I deleted my Facebook permanently. And I asked her, I said, do you remember that night? And she said, I'll never forget that night. And I said, would you be willing to go back out there with us? And she said, no. And she said, I go back out there sometimes, but the gate is as far as I can get. I'll pull in the gate and I can't make myself go in. And so, but I went back out there in the daytime and got the names of the graves and everything because I kind of wanted to know a little history behind it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, they were the oldest tombstones in the place. They were like 1888 or something like that.
Yeah.
1886 or 8. So I figured those were the first 2 people buried there because they had their own fence.
Right.
And, I'm sure the tombstones weren't made then because they looked a little newer than that. And they weren't like
they were
rough hand
They
chisel.
put new stones down probably when they took
Correct.
over the graveyard.
Yeah. So, but, and it's called Salem Cemetery. And I started looking for information on the names of that were on the grave, and it just had one name. It said Duncan on both of them.
Just Duncan?
And it had
That's it?
Duncan was all it said on each one of them, and it had their death date, but not their birth date.
That is weird.
And, okay, so I can't find anything about them, but this is pre-internet, so I've got to go through county court records. Well, my friend, Jeremy, the one that didn't freak out over this deal, me and him go back. And for some reason, after that night, when we're together, that's when the crazy stuff happens. I mean, we've had countless encounters since then. I don't know what it is.
Same
but
place?
No.
There's other places.
We can't ever, well, he's got kids, and we never could get this was before he was married and had kids, so
I know
going
that
out there on
goes.
Halloween night was real difficult, you know.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Trust me.
Yeah, but we didn't back then. We didn't have like night vision cameras and thermal and all that.
I know.
That we've got now. Man, if we'd have had it that night, oh my God!
I'm right with you, man. In '95, I was doing the same thing at a place called Posey's Chapel. That was our haunted graveyard out here in LaPorte County, and had some similar experiences. It's kind of weird.
Do you think
excuse me?
Do you think it could have been some sort of little portal?
You know, I don't know. I went back out there. I talked to a shaman and told him what happened, and he said you need to go out there and give a peace offering.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's years later. Yeah, but he said if you plan to go back, you need to go pay your respect.
Yeah.
And tell him you didn't mean to trespass and everything. So I did that, but I still haven't been back out there at night. I got married, had a kid.
I know that feeling, bud. I used to be very adventurous when in 95. We said 95. I'm like, that's about time I was out getting 16 years old, going out and going to these places and get in trouble, you know, and cemeteries for teenage kids is like, you know, that's where you can go get the weird.
I had a similar feeling when I started to walk into a portal like that. Jeff had seen it, but it was so intense. I like stopped in my tracks and just started walking backwards because it kind of stopped me, and just the electricity feeling, the zapping, like spider webs all over.
Let me ask you something, Jamie. Let me ask you something. Did you notice a strange smell when you walked up on what you thought was a portal?
Not that I remember.
Okay, because I had a portal incident, and this was before the cemetery deal. I just didn't realize what was going on at the time. But I almost got struck by lightning when I was a kid at camp, and I realize now that it was the ozone smell that the people say you smell when you're real close to a lightning strike. Okay, that smell, I smelled that same smell when I almost walked up on what I believe to be a portal. And I did the same thing she did. I backed away.
What's funny about this story is you're saying, you know, I was thinking 95, that the place I went to was Posey's Chapel. I never had anything totally crazy happen. I have some weird stuff, but I had friends that went out there without me and had some experiences described like they thought was like a portal there. And it was some similar experiences like that with electricity and static electricity and smells. And, you know, I never experienced that out there, but I do know some people that did, you know, and as another cemetery, you know, are there places of portals there? I also had people, and I saw some evidence of people doing ritualistic stuff out there, like, you know, druid or pagan or something along those lines. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a guy who used to mow that cemetery. Talked to him about 3 or 4 months ago, and I don't care anymore. If I meet someone that lives around here or whatever, it's not very long till I'm asking them if they've ever had an experience, because I'm trying to get my own podcast going, but I've had a bunch of family issues and stuff holding me back, and I just want to be able to do 100%.
I get it.
You know, but the incident with the portal was a completely different deal.
Yeah.
But the 4 people that went to, or the 4 guys that went to the 3 plus me and my best friend were the only 2 that were willing to go back. The other 2 guys, okay, I asked one of them if he would do it, and he said, hell no, I ain't never going back there again. And the other one said, look, man, I made a deal with God after that night, and I said, okay, I can respect that. You know, I won't bother you about it again. But the 2 girls, no.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if it could have been like a protection, like some sort of, because, you know, you're saying it's Salem. It was just making me think about, you know, witches and things, and if there was some sort of spell or protection put on that area, because I never had that feeling of like a snake going on my leg, or the serpent is curious to me, like it's keeping you away.
Yeah,
those gravestones.
I can't imagine how strong that thing could have been inside that fence. You know,
I just keep picturing the spine like floating, you know, or like that's creepy to me, man.
I know. I just, and
I
I
keep
asked
thinking that's
Jeremy,
what you
I said,
felt wrap around your leg, though. You said you,
no,
that's
no,
what I think.
the spine was inside the fence.
Inside, okay. But it could,
Yeah.
it was
And it
moving.
was on top
Who knows?
Well, but it was so, and I don't know, maybe all that smoke in the air had something to do with causing the, activity to ramp and the power of this thing. But I mean,
hey, there, in a sense, what is smoke going to do? It's going to dry out the air. It's going to take away the humidity. And you're going to have dryness. Now, in a house, when you have the heat on, I as a paranormal investigator, I've told people that, these things seem to ramp up around the times of winter, a lot of times more because people are trapped in their homes and notice things, but also because maybe if paranormal activity needs static electricity or charges in the air, it's going to have a much easier time doing it in a drier condition than a humid condition.
Yeah, I mean, we have all this, we have this lake about 7 or 8 miles east of us, and it all had this grassland around it, and it was called the CRP program. And what it was if you own this land and you qualified for the program, you let it grow wild. You never mowed it.
Right.
You kept it native. Well, someone went out there and was starting fires, pulling a little arson, and it had got out of control. There were some people that died fighting the fires out there. I was trying to look up the exact date just to, because it's been so long.
Yeah.
And when I looked up the date, the 2 guys that got killed fighting the fires came up. So I know that was it. I know that was the time and date.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was so thick in the air that all the kids went trick-or-treating early that night.
And it was Halloween. Who knows? I mean, my shadow person experience I got was me going out to these train tracks where we had seen something a year before around Halloween, and we went the night after Halloween. But, Halloween brings you out to these spooky places, and people get, have you ever been experienced? Like they get their paranormal cherry pop, basically.
What's your look?
That was the night I got mine.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for calling and sharing that. I love that.
Yeah, man. Anytime, dude. Hey, Jamie?
Yeah.
What made you back up?
Just shock.
From your experience, yeah.
Did you hear your conscience tell you to back away?
It
or
was
hear
like,
anything? I mean,
just
a feeling?
stopped, put my hands up, and just backed up. Like, I did not want to step a foot forward.
Yeah, me too. But I heard my own voice tell me to back away when I walked up on that thing.
Oh, wow.
The portal incident was a different incident. I was metal detecting, and it started going crazy, and I came up out of the creek, and just this thing was malfunctioning. It was brand new, never had any problems with it before or since. And I started to peep over this rise on an old fence line, and something told me to stop. And I could hear whooping like a helicopter, like in the movies, like at the end of Platoon, where you can hear that helicopter whooping real slow. That's what it was doing. And I almost peeped over it, and something said, "Turn around and go back."
Oh, wow.
Grabbed my metal detector and turned my ass around and walked away. And then later on, I got on Google Earth right when Google Earth started, and I looked at that spot, and it was blurred out where I was going to peep over.
It sounds like some government alien kind of stuff.
I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of incidents after that.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know where it ended up. If you heard my paranormal searches in states, I don't know where Oklahoma ended up on that list. I don't remember if they had that list or not. But it sounds like you guys got stuff going on.
I was going to tell you in chat, people are a lot more less apt to talk about it around here. For some reason, everybody's real tight-lipped and quiet and don't like, because they don't like anyone to tell them they're crazy or.
I think that's everywhere
whatever,
you go. Honestly, it depends on, people like me and you, we're over it. We're going to talk about it, but for everyday people that haven't experienced it maybe more than once, the one thing that scared the crap out of them, they're never going to talk about it. They don't want to ever experience again.
I was at my house one day and I was telling everybody about one of the experiences I had, and one of my friends, he's kind of an ass, but I kind of inherited him. But anyways, he was going, "Oh, you're crazy." Well, everybody else left but me and him. And after everybody else left, he goes, "I've seen one of those things you were talking about."
Well, then he's a
And I
real
said,
jerk.
"Where was
Call
that
you
earlier?"
crazy and then be like, no, I really have seen it.
Yeah.
Well, then
And he
shut
goes,
your
"Man, I
mouth.
didn't want everybody to think." Yeah, he goes, "I didn't want everybody to think I was crazy like you."
But you can call you crazy. What a jerk. I
Yeah,
had one of my
but
wife's friends
Stevie
call
was
me a
honest.
liar once, one of her childhood friends,
Yeah.
and I'm like, screw you.
Yeah, well, I figured, I got to admire him, a little bit, saying, "Okay, I've seen that." But I said, "Where was that
I
earlier?"
know.
And he said, "I didn't want everybody to think I was crazy like you."
I don't. He should have backed you up. He should have
And that's
backed
why
you
we
up.
have
I don't
this
care
safe
anymore.
space here.
Yeah, that's why we have the safe place here. And any time, Corey, you call in, okay?
Yes,
It sounds
sir.
like you got a lot more
Hey, man,
stories
it's
to share.
awesome. Yeah, it was awesome talking to y'all.
All right, man. Well, hey, good luck getting you starting to get. I know how it is. When I started this podcast, my first son had already been born, and my second was on his way. And is when I started this midlife crisis. I needed an outlet, so it'll help you. Do it. Just do it. Just start it.
I sure
Start
hope
small.
so.
Start small. Just start doing it. Just talk to people. I did it, and I wanted to make sure I had phone lines so I could talk to people like you.
Oh, hey, when I walk up to a stranger, I don't have to talk to him very long, and I ask. I always start asking about paranormal because I don't.
Then you'll be
Go
fine.
ahead and call me
You'll be
crazy.
fine doing a podcast. Trust me.
Okay.
If you can talk to
All
strangers,
right.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well,
just do it. Do it. Do it.
It was awesome talking to y'all.
All right, Corey. Well, you have a great night, man, and have a good Memorial
You
Day.
too. See ya.
All right, we're on the last story because we're getting to the end of the show. And everybody's been talking about this one. Let me put the share screen back up. Alex Jones. Turn the phone, Gary! Alex Jones was even going off. Of course, he had to go off on this. Oh, yeah. Who wore it better, Carrie or Prince or King Charles here? This is his new royal portrait. What the hell were they thinking? Mirrored images of King Charles III, new royal portrait, have revealed hidden images of Baphomet, a figure associated with satanic and occult practices worked into the artwork.
Dun, 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 dun.
The artwork, characterized by satanic red color scheme and detailed in depictions of Charles in his Welsh Guards uniform, was intended as a tribute to the king's long-standing service. What service is this as? I'm sorry, provided. However, a disturbing visual phenomenon involving the mirrored image of the portrait is revealed in more than can be seen at first glance. The People's Voice reported on Tuesday that this portrait was painted by artist Jonathan Yeo, Y-E-O, Yeo, how you say his? I don't know.
Yeah,
And it depicts Charles against a background of vivid red hues. Maybe too vivid. Wearing the uniform of the Welsh Guard military unit, Charles was made regimental colonel of the regiment in 1975. Did he serve? Did he do whatever? A young girl with a butterfly flutters just above his right shoulder. There's a young girl in there? I didn't see it. I just saw the butterfly. Complete with a disturbing effect, butterflies are well-known symbols in occult circles. It's a monarch butterfly, too. All right, go to the reverse. I have a couple images in here of this. You should see more. So this is it. So they split in half, put together, upside down. And this is what Alex Jones was going, get a frost, get in the water!
It's like those Horseshack ink blot tests.
Mm-hmm. Is this pareidolia? There's another one. I think I have another picture in here of it, too. Yeah. Here it is, the kind of the combine of it, but the picture you see before is it, and then it's flipped upside down, and you kind of get the horns from his arms and stuff. This is the new Rochenbaum. What do you see in Prince Charles's portrait, or King Charles's portrait, But, I read a long time ago, a guy wrote a whole book many, many, many years ago called The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea, and the whole premise of his book is that Prince Charles is the Antichrist. Or at the time he was Prince Charles, now he's King Charles. And he points out all the symbolism within their coat of arms and everything that they've done in the royal family, that they're all Luciferian and that he is the Damien. He's the Antichrist. I kind of laughed at the book because I'm like, that guy? Really? Like, who's going to follow that guy? Yeah. But what the hell were they thinking? Like,
yeah.
The
artist said he painted him in all red to take away from the distraction of his brightly colored red suit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Sure.
Mm.
I think, you know, if this was done and purposely to put Bathmon in there, and then he had to use like AI to make the art, probably. But then again, I don't know, you know, or they're lizard people, according to David Icke.
Blue Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much stuff pushed in front of our faces every day, and we're only going to catch a small portion of it.
Yeah.
The commenters on this, basically, one person said, it looks like he's in hell. Someone asked if is that blood on his hands? Well, a lot of people were having fun with this painting. I've seen so many memes of this.
Where's the best place to hide something? In plain sight.
You know, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people who are like putting together this, like if you really get in like the whole mirror image thing or whatever, it looks like the whole Bathmont thing. I get it. I don't know. But conspiracy theories will go about, and I hate the royal family because it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Like, I remember laughing at that book. It was really interesting, like all the symbolism and all the stuff that they do. It does really seem like they're Lucifering it or whatever, but like at the same time, like who would follow that jackass? Like, if he's the Antichrist, he's not going to do very well. But then
I don't think he's like the actual Antichrist, but I think he is a bad man.
I think his family is involved in some deep occult ritual stuff that they maybe. I don't know.
There's some,
but yeah,
I believe there's some crazy stuff goes on down there.
I just love. I should have get more pictures of all the great memes from that. Oh, there's a ton of great memes from this one. Like, you didn't know you were gonna get memed, King Charles. I guess he's not with it. What's he meme? Like, you are one now, buddy. I'm sure there's plenty of other memes. But where's the little girl in it? Like, I don't get the whole, like, there's a little girl picture. What are they talking about? What little girl? I have no idea. Just see the monarch butterfly.
I have to look at it bigger.
Looks like a demon or alien. Like, I'm looking at the Twitter post on this. And then you remember Obama's painting?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and there's all like a whole thing like that. Like that. There's the goat thing in that. If you like mirror image all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I love this one. Somebody put the Satan from South Park in between it. That's awesome. Oh, but I mean,
the South Park Satan.
Yeah. I just love that his boyfriend was Saddam Hussein.
I just perfect.
You know, but I mean, why are these people relevant? I love somebody put that pedophile that he was always associated with next to him in the painting. That's nice. Can't remember the guy's name. He's dead now. But, I mean, if you don't want people to think you're a satanic Luciferic, you might not want to make a painting that, you know, looks like you or satanic Luciferic. I don't know. Satan.
I like this one.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And then, of course, I also love all the Ghostbuster ones. You know, from Ghostbusters 2. With the paint. That one. Who wore it better?
Oh, I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of those memes there. Dracula. Hey, he believes he's related to Vlad the Impaler. They actually, not believes, they traced his lineage back to Vlad the Impaler. And he's proud of it, too, by the way.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, actually, he traces his lineage back to Genghis Khan. All
everybody.
Yeah. What the big... Hey, when's I would love to see Prince Andrew. When's he gonna get his portrait?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There you go.
Oh no. Oh.
I love the I love the portrait of Jeffrey Epstein of Bill Clinton and George Bush that he had in his house.
Yeah.
George Bush sitting there with the planes and the towers falling over, and then Bill Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky blue dress. That's some artwork.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Mm.
But, you know, that's the weird world we live in.
Yeah, it's very weird.
But, yeah. And you know, like, who are these artists that are getting picked? Because I'm looking at the Obama one again. I'm like, and that one's just so horrible. Like, there's no conspiracy and theory involved. It's just really horrible. Like, he's just sitting in a chair, surrounded by these flowers, kind of looking like he's taking a dump in some bush. You know, like, who, you know, then they have, like, PR people like, I don't think that's the best portrait for you. You know, it's not a good look. You know, like, don't they have somebody there?
His publicists are like, I think we should double think this one.
You know, Bob Ross around. Put a little tiny bush here and a satanic symbol hidden in here.
Down by the bum.
Add this happy little accident.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I see a ton of Ghostbuster memes with this one. That's it. That's all we had for the World Wide Web of Weird. Great call tonight. We had a Ziriana and we had Corey.
Yeah.
Great call from both. I love hearing those stories. But, you know, next week is Gregory and Gail Hogue going to be talking about sacred geometry, how it can change your life. We'll see. It is kind of like self-help. I am trying to get away from like self-help guests, but this does seem interesting.
It is. It's pretty interesting.
But I am looking for a better guest. I'm looking for more guests that I want to get in those conversations like I had with Corey, you know, like these experiences. People, I had people comment, go, you talk too much over the guest. Okay, yeah, I do. Maybe I do. But I like to talk. I like to have a conversation. We share our experiences together. You know, that's just how I roll. You don't like it? Go watch somebody else. Go listen to George Snorri.
Snorri?
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. He did nothing. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. But I just can't listen. I'm sorry, I can't listen to Coast to Coast anymore. It's so boring. I'm not saying my show is like delightfully entertaining or anything like that, but you know. But I like to have real conversations with people. I don't ask scripted questions, and you know, I'm given questions by publicists for them, and I use them as a guide, but I barely ever do. You know, I sit there and have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's what I like to do. And that's why I like to have conversations with you guys. So I'd rather have, you know, than have a guest that's just going to try to sell us on something or whatever. And I'd rather do open lines and talk to you guys and do weird articles. And that's what I'll do. Yeah. Yeah, we got to do the psychic games night. I want to plan that out. I'd like to get, I love having it with Katrina and Rhodey here too, though. It's kind of what I'm like looking at to see if I could have her do a night where she does some readings and we have some fun and games, you know. I always love watching her going, well, I can't do the Zener cards, you know, because she sucks at it just as bad as us because she's not a psychic, she's a medium. But it's fun.
I just
so
got
that's
a
it.
tarot deck. That would be fun for...
You would do some readings?
Too. Yeah, because it's got all sorts of elements and things on the cards. They're like quick, easy.
Well, possible date might be if I do a show, depending on what my family wants to do on Father's Day. I don't have anybody booked for that, and we might. We'll see if depending on what we're do family-wise for Father's Day. But otherwise, I am getting booked up a little bit. I still got a lot of July open. June's pretty much booked, but I'm trying to get better guests. It's not been easy, and I will just do more open lines until I do. That's just what I'll do because I like talking to you guys. And like getting calls like from Corey that are awesome like that.
Yeah.
That's the bread and butter. That's the stuff I love to hear.
And always
you guys'
love
experiences.
Ziriana calling.
And Ziriana, any of you guys, just call in, talk. Not tonight now. The show ends. Ending it early because oh my God, I am throbbing so bad right now. And I don't have the root canal till June 24th.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be right after the
Do you have
Monday
any
after show.
clove oil?
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I probably do. I say no, but my wife would be like, slap me up and say, of course I do. You know,
Yeah,
I'm sure she
bring
does.
a little clove oil in it if you do.
Yeah. Sadly, this is going to use up all my dental insurance that I have left, and I got to wait for 2 crowns till next year. I hate the dentist. I want to go. You guys, I'm like, what are you? I'm crying now at the end of my show about the dentist. I'm gonna end it there. All right, Weird Wednesday next week.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'll start to get to come on some Weird Wednesdays now we head into the summer season when my kid's not having school. I'm hoping to get to come on a couple, as long as work provides, lets me. I'm off the next day or something like that. So hopefully soon. Weird Wednesday, guys. Check out Weird Wednesday with Jamie and Rod every Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Central, right?
Yeah, 12 Eastern. Yep. 9.
All right, guys. YouTube, Facebook, find them, Roku, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
No more Roku.
Twitter, Z.
No more Roku?
No more
X,
Roku.
whatever it's called. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, that network tried to get me set up. I could have done Roku and all that stuff, but I'm like, I'm at the point with the show. I'm like, I like doing it my way, and if I want to have a short show on a night, not worry about what a network says, I'm going to. It's just, this is my outlet. You know, I don't want to make it a network thing again. I've done that. Yeah. You know, it's just nice hanging out with you guys. And you know, if I want to do a 3-hour show, I'm going to do a 3-hour show. If I'm going to do a 2-hour, I'm going to do a 2-hour. I don't have to answer no network. And it is only a 2-hour show, so we're ending it there. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Great call from Corey and Azurian tonight. Thank you guys for calling in. Next Sunday, it will be Gregory and Gail Hogue talking about sacred geometry, how it can change your life. And more shows to come. Paranormal Soup every Sunday night, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, or 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time if we have a guest. Sometimes shorter, open lines and weird, wild, World Wide Web of Weird. Every Sunday night, join us where the paranormal happens live. Thank you to all of our Patreons out there. $1 a month, $2 a month does help pay the bills. Thank you, but don't forget you can always donate to the show through Patreon or Super Chat or Super Stickers on here. Does donate to the show too. Thank you to everybody who does. It does help pay the bills for the show. Thank you to everybody who does share out the show too. Keep telling your friends about Paranormal Soup. You know, Corey, that was a new guy, first time calling in. That's like goal. I love that. That's bless his heart and everybody. Any new listener wants to call in, it's always great. And every old listener, Zach out there, I can't wait to one day we get him on a different work schedule and hear Zach again call it. I miss you, Zach. But I love all you guys. Thank you so much. More Paranormal Soup to come next Sunday. See you then. Have a great night.